Mr. Speaker, yesterday our PC caucus, like many other Albertans, were devastated to learn that this NDP government failed to hand over a critical report to the RCMP regarding child intervention. It is clear this government has trouble understanding when a crisis affecting Alberta family, even when it's right in front of their faces. We're seeing this same thing with the fentanyl, and we're seeing it again with the child intervention system. Premier, why do you continue to double down and not address crises that are hurting and impacting Albertans today?
Deputy Premier.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, and thank you to the member for the question. That's one of the reasons why we've moved forward on having two pieces to the panel. One is a very short-term, action-focused, immediate actions that the panel itself will be involved in determining next steps, because the panel, all of us in this chamber, owe it to roll up our sleeves and make sure that we're doing everything we can to fix this. And then there will be a longer piece that involves afterwards, Mr. Speaker, that the panel members themselves will be involved in developing the outward-facing pieces of that to ensure the safety and protection of the children, and that public accountability is provided, Mr. Speaker.
First supplemental.
Given that we know the Human Services Minister and the Justice Minister falls back on an empty key message promises of looking into certain issue, and the Justice Minister's response was that the matter is being investigated by the RCMP and she cannot share the important progress. We aren't buying it anymore. The Minister of Human Services was not actively following up on this heartbreaking case, and the Minister of Justice was not ensuring her department was working collaboratively with the RCMP. Premier, do you have a confidence in the ability of both of these ministers to ensure we don't lose any more children?
Deputy Premier.
The Justice Minister and the Human Services Minister absolutely have my confidence and the confidence of our entire caucus, Mr. Speaker. And we are working with them to provide supports and opportunities to help them improve the system, Mr. Speaker. Everyone knows the system needs to be fixed, and it is our responsibility to step up and do that, Mr. Speaker. You have two options. You defend the system and ask for an individual to take responsibility. You fix the system and have an individual taking responsibility. Our minister is doing just that, and he's stepping up to fix the system, and I hope that all members opposite do just that as well, Mr. Speaker.
The second supplemental.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Well, Premier, you're out of touch with Albertans because they have lost confidence in your cabinet. Given that the Minister of Human Services and the Minister of Justice have not done their job and are holding up RCMP investigation into the death of 4-year-old Serenity. To the Premier, my question is very simple. Will you do the right thing today and replace these two ministers so we can move forward with all-party committee to address this issue in this child intervention system and start saving lives?
We are moving forward with an all-party committee, Mr. Speaker, and we want the committee itself to be involved in just that, Mr. Speaker. That's why we are moving forward with making sure that we have opportunities to fix the system, and we are committed to doing just that. And Mr. Speaker, the two individuals that are being called upon are standing right there. They're working to make the system better, Mr. Speaker. And instead of flipping over a table and calling for everyone to start from scratch, I encourage everyone to come to the table, sit down, work on the system, and make it better, because every child deserves that, Mr. Speaker.